So you can see here I have graphed and georeferenced to the state level the 2012 corn acres for the United States. I also included Ontario here. Can't forget good old home for me. 2.5 million acres is what I have here. 300,000 of that is silage corn. So very close to Michigan here. Michigan's at 2.3. So Michigan's about number 11 in terms of rank. I guess just a different perspective, if we added Ontario here at 2.5 plus the million acres of corn that we grow in Quebec along the St. Lawrence River here in the eastern townships of Quebec, and then about 365,000 acres that are grown here in Winnipeg here in the southern tier here, that would get us into about number 8, so kind of about 3.6 million, so close to Ohio here in terms of our total acreage in Canada. There also is a little bit of corn silage grown out in British Columbia, but it's quite minor. So I'm just going to go through. Obviously you can see here the big states, Iowa, Illinois, obviously are by far and away. Nebraska as well here. So I'm just going to spin around here and I'm going to show you the top 5 and then we'll go through the top 10. Now this information is from the USDA, and I'm going to show you a few different data sets here, but I'm just going to show you 2012 just to get you a good feel here. I'll spin a little bit more here, get a shot of everything here. So obviously Iowa, corn capital. 2012 it harvested 13.7 million. I think there were 13.9 or just over 14 million acres is what they planted. So obviously that's basically number 1, and they've been number 1 basically since 2000. Actually the rankings have not changed that much from 2000 to 2012. I did talk about North Dakota in some of my writing here. It has moved up, but otherwise the top 10 hasn't changed since 2000. So corn still, in terms of rank, still gets planted in the normal corn acres or normal corn growing areas. So so Iowa about 20 to 25% of the production. Illinois is next, about 12 million acres, a little over 12 million, about 17, so a little less than 20% of the overall production. Next, number 3 is Nebraska, Cornhuskers, just over 9 million acres there, about 11% of the production. Next is Minnesota, 8.3 million acres, about 10% there as well. And then Indiana down here is 6 million acres and about 8% of the production. So there's the top 5 for you. Those you probably knew quite well. The next 5 from 6 to 10 is they're all about 4% of the production, so they're all the same, but a few differences in acreages. South Dakota, 5.3 million acres. Next is Kansas, 3.9 million acres harvested, and Ohio, 3.6 million acres there. Number 9 is Wisconsin, 3.3 million acres, and then down here in the south, Missouri, 3.3 million acres. So there you can kind of see the top 10. Obviously the Corn Belt and the Upper Corn Belt, I guess is what you call here, the upper plains here. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good perspective. So I'm going to spin around here and I'm actually going to show you the production for the last 9 years. So harvested acres since 2003 to 2012. Obviously you can see the south here has kind of fallen off, or really hasn't had much change in production. There's been some increases. Part of that is just corn doesn't grow well in dry periods, and they get those dry periods during pollination. So and there's other crops that obviously are more profitable. And we kind of go in here. There hasn't been a big jump. I mean, Missouri came up a little bit, and you can see this jump here, this purple here. That's 2007, so that's when the ethanol mandate came in. Kind of jumped everyone up here. I'm just going to pull in here a little bit. We'll just stop there, and we'll show you some interesting things here. Over here, this is Illinois. You can see in 2003 there were 11 million acres, and then 2007 harvested 13 million, just over 13 million acres when the ethanol mandate came in. And then you can see this is falling off now. Now last year they got down to 12 million, so a million acres was lost there. But the thinking here is that the last couple of years the yields have been going down on the corn and corn acres, so the thought is that less is going in on corn there. So just as a note, in 2012 there was about 75 million acres of soybeans that or soybean ground that was available to swing into corn. So somewhere between 75 million and well, I guess they planted about 95 million acres, so there's 20 million acres there that basically could have potentially been corn on corn acres. It wasn't all corn on corn, but kind of gives you an idea that corn on corn is certainly a significant part of the production in the United States. And we can also here look at Iowa here. 2003 they went from about 12 million acres, and 2007 they were pretty darn close to harvesting 14 million acres, but they didn't hit it, and then it kind of fell off a little bit, and then they harvested 13.7 million acres last year. So certainly you can see the corn acres are basically coming from the traditional areas. Some of it's corn on corn. I'd like to see some information on that if I ever dig that up. I'd love to look at that and see how many acres are really corn on corn. But in terms of new production areas, there's not a lot of areas. I think I talk about it a few times in some of the writing of South Dakota and the Upper Plains there, and we'll spin around and take a look at that and actually show you what it looks like in a graphic here. So certainly the acres are coming from, and the major acreage is coming from the traditional corn states, but certainly any losses due to those corn on corn acres are coming in some non-traditional areas. So we'll just spin around here and look at the Upper Plains here. And we'll zoom in here, and I'll just change it a little here for you to see here a little bit better. Okay, so this is North Dakota. 2003, just under a million or just over a million acres, 1.1. And then in 2007, the ethanol mandate came in, and they went up to 2.3. So quite a million acres, but certainly a healthy jump there. And then it kind of fell off a little bit, and then it cranked back up. They got in the fields early. I think that was the biggest thing in North Dakota, and they got up to picked up like a million acres, which is pretty phenomenal. So 3.4 million acres is what they went up to. So that was like a 52% jump there, so pretty significant jump there. And I think most of it was they got in early, and it seemed like they were going to get a lot of time to grow corn. So and I think that's what happened there. And certainly you can see here in Minnesota it's picking up, as well as South Dakota's been picking up as well. So it's kind of nice to see that. So that kind of gives you a good perspective on where the corn acres are coming from and some of the interesting spots. And I'll jump over here and just show you Ontario here. 2003 we were just over 2 million acres. We don't have that much corn on corn, and I'll actually do a video on Ontario corn acreage and actually show you where the corn acres are there. And last year we got in early, and we, like I said, this is 2.5 million, and 300,000 of that was silage, so that gives you a good perspective. So that's pretty close to Michigan here. 2003 they were just over 2 million acres, and then in 2012 they hit 2.3 million acres, almost 2.4. So very close. Of note, for Ontario producers, the USDA